Okay folks, this will be our last lesson 5 here of HTML. Okay, and in this particular tutorial what I want to show you how to do is to link to other files. Okay, so we create hypertext. Right? We'll do it in 2 different ways here, and I'll go back, and again we got file organization, that's big. So I'm going to go back, I'm in lesson 2.4 here. I'm going to create a new HTML, say new, use my text editor, new HTML document, lesson 2.4.2.htm. Okay, and I'll go in and edit it with my text editor, notepad. Okay, so let me type some code here. Alright, so here this one I'll start out with header again. I'll say how to add hyperlinks or hypertext to a web page. Alright, and we'll keep with the same theme, and I'll kind of go backwards from where I went in the last tutorial here. I'm going to start with an absolute link. Okay, so if I want to hyperlink to Google, that's a nice easy one that all of us remember. Alright, what I need to do is I use an anchor. Okay, so I open up my tag, I say anchor, and then wherever my hypertext reference is, it's href, whoops, equals, then quotation mark, and then I put in the complete URL, www.google.com. Okay, close it, and then now I need to put in a chunk of text. So I'll put in, I want this to be I want to say something meaningful, okay, and then I close the tag A. Okay, so I have an anchor reference that I open and I close. Go back over this side here. My anchor reference over here you can see starts with A and then a space href equals and then the URL. Okay, in quotation marks. I close it. I close the tag, or I close the start of my anchor. And I go out here on the other side of the text. I close the tag up. Okay, so I'm going to save it. Multitask over to my web browser, which I need to open up. Okay, and so here's how to add a hyperlink to a web page. And boom, there I'm at Google. Oh, nice. Okay. So let's do this. So let me add another line of text here. I'm going to say using an absolute reference. Okay. And then let's add another, and I'm going to just do a carriage return here. And now I'm going to use a relative link, or relative reference. Alright, so let me see what other files I have. Okay, where I get stumbled up with this, a lot of it's syntax. Okay, so I have this other file that we created in an earlier tutorial here. It's called lesson 2.4.1.htm. That's really easy to get that wrong, so be cautious about that. That you're precise. Computers need you to be precise. My other tip here is don't use spaces. Spaces confuse things. You can get away with it. It works, but I find it more difficult. Okay, so let me go back over here now using a relative link. So I'll say href. And again, I'll use equals and a quotation mark. And I'm going to start wherever I currently am in the directory structure, which is a point. Okay, my dot marker, and a forward slash. And that other lesson is called, or that other file is called lesson 2.4.1.htm. Okay, and that's way more complicated. You usually don't have something that complicated. All right, and this one is going to be, let's see, we got Google search engine. This one will be, whoops, close. How to add images in HTML, and then we'll close the anchor. Okay, and I'm just gonna, we'll pull this up. I see some obvious kind of flaws in what we're doing here. So let me pull this up again. I'll refresh. Okay, that actually works out alright. How to use an absolute reference. Okay, here's my Google search engine. How to add images in HTML. Okay, and this takes me, see how it takes me back to the other file. Okay. And when if I just kind of mouse over this, you can see the links here. on the bottom left hand, I'm looking right in this area, and I watch when I mouse over, okay, it tells me to link. Okay, or I mouse over here, it tells me to link here too. Okay, so that's how we add relative references. Let's do one more, and this will be a little more complicated. I'm going to close some things off here. I'm going to close this off, I'm going to close this off, and I'm going to close this off. Okay, so my file that I'm working on, and I closed it off, is in this folder, lesson 2.4. And suppose I want to reference something from lesson 2.3, which in relationship, and again we're talking about a relative path, if I'm inside here I have to go up one directory and then into this folder, and let's reference one of these. Let's reference lesson 2.33. Okay, so it's going to be a little more tricky here creating a relative reference. Okay, so I'm inside here, I got to go up a directory, and then I go over to this folder, then I go inside of it and I find that. Okay, see how that's a little more complex? Let's see how we'd write that now. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, I'll say open with notepad. Alright, we'll do another reference here. We'll use another, let's put another line break here, and we'll say using a relative reference to, and we call this a parent directory, okay, because this is a parent directory, which is a directory that's in, if you think of a hierarchical structure, it's right above it, and then it's going to be over one and back down. Okay, so we'll say just parent directory. Okay, and I'll reference it here. I'll say href equals, okay, and instead of dot operator to refer to the directory that's up above us, okay, and think of it as hierarchy, the next level above us, we use two dots. Oh, that makes sense, huh? One dot is our current directory, two dots is the parent directory, and a forward slash. And then we're in lesson, the name of that folder is 2.3. Okay, let's look at that again. Okay, so I got to go up a directory. Okay, so boom, that takes me to my desktop here. And then I go into lesson 2.3. And from there I'm going to go into lesson 2.3.3.htm. Okay, bring that back up. Whoop, where's my file? Okay, and I want to say lesson, because I want to refer to a HTML file, 2.33.htm. Make sure that's right, 2.33.htm. Okay. So close it off. And again, the dot operator, the dot operator. Dot operator is where I'm currently at. Dot is my parent directory. Okay. Close the tag. And I can't even remember what we did in this other. This was lesson 3 here, and I think we did some other fancy stuff with HTML. I'll just say lesson 2.33. Okay, and I'll close my anchor there, save it. Okay, Control S, so I did that quickly, and then I need to open up my web browser again and pull that up. Okay, so here's Google, absolute reference, here's relative reference in my current directory, here's relative reference in a parent directory. I'll make sure that works. Okay, and this was a very interesting, there's a typo again, assignment where we were working on just some real simple HTML tags. Okay. Make sure you have a good understanding of absolute reference, relative reference, and it'll help you both with HTML documents and as you pursue any type of file management activities.